Issue 7 Living Proof magazine, now available on our Patreon and online shop, featuring Jason Dill, Wanto246, Star Team East Village, Ed Templeton, Pear246, Rat Rats, GK Screw MSK, Cheryl Dunn, Strawberry Western, Labor Skate Shop, Greetings Tour, Casey Bolding, and Brigade. Every copy comes with a Wanto poster. Patreon subscribers on the Living Proof magazine tier are guaranteed a copy for the month of September 2024, even if the online shop is sold out. livingproofnewyork.com. Enjoy the episode. Peace and thank you. It's actually crazy. I was rewatching a lot of the Shep Dogs videos in preparation for this.
Yeah.
And just like watching them as a fan and getting stoked out on them. I was watching your first Shep Dogs part. Was it like 16 years ago or something like that?
Yeah, probably.
Because I think the video was upload. It was a while ago, and like I'm looking at it, and you guys are all super young, and I'm sure like it's the same for everyone. Like at that time, you can't really tell how young you are. You can't really tell how fucking important and vital this time period is in your lives.
Right.
And you also can't tell how much it's influencing like the outside world, like with YouTube and even with just DVDs at the time. Like everyone's buying the DVDs. Like now no one's buying DVDs, but
right.
Back then, like a DVD could really circulate, and it might circulate like in a way more because when you get it, you're really gonna watch that shit. Like you're gonna watch it through and through. You're gonna fucking memorize it. Like all the I only had so many DVDs, like what, 20, 25 of skate ones, and like I watched all of them at least like 100 times.
Yeah, you knew all of them.
You knew all of them.
Yeah, all the special features. You knew everything about it.
Yeah. And I'm watching the Shep Dogs videos, and I'm like, damn, it's crazy. You can't hear that really too much on this. This you can, but like on this you can't.
Okay.
I'm watching the shit, and it's like, it's just crazy from an outside perspective what ends up happening, which is like a lot of you guys, you know, did something big in skateboarding and made it your living. And I'm assuming during like the Shep Dogs video, the first one, no one knew that shit was going to happen or how it was going to play out.
Right. No, it's funny. I was actually just talking to the homie Jace from Miami the other day, and he was talking about how much he liked Shep Dogs growing up. And I've heard other people tell me that, like people I look up to nowadays tell me that they looked up to the Shep Dogs growing up. And I tell them, I don't think we really knew or cared too much about what we were doing because we assumed everyone else was doing it. You know, it's like we watched skate videos growing up. Okay, you're too young to be sponsored or go on trips. Just make believe, you know, like we were kids, just like, all right, we're just going to skate, make a video, put out a trailer, you know, maybe. And like we tried to put out a video for years. Like it probably started in elementary school. And then like that first Shep Dogs video didn't happen until, I don't know, I was probably 14 or something like that. So years of just messing around with the friends, just kind of playing make believe. And then once we made one video, we're like, all right, let's make another one. And then by like the second or third one, we like actually, some of us were getting decent. Riley was always good. T-Spliff was always good. But like I said, we didn't really know what we were doing. We didn't know if people cared. I just assumed everyone was doing the same thing.
Yeah.
In each city.
Yeah.
You know, like we just happened to be in North County, San Diego. That was it, you know? And sure, there's a few like other pros around us that are noticing, but like none of us cared. But then now I talk to people and they're like, it wasn't happening like that everywhere else. Like you guys were fucking on it. And like I said, it just felt normal. Like we're all skating, but maybe the location had something to do with it. I think everyone pushed each other like subconsciously. We weren't like jocks about it, but it was like, all right, we're all going to go skate together. Like, I don't know, San Diego loves handrails. So everyone just got gnarlier and gnarlier. And everyone kind of had their own thing going on too. I mean, I say that and it's like to an outsider's point of view, they all probably just looked like San Diego kids. But in my head, when I really knew all of us, we were all so fucking different. Like everyone cared about different stuff, wanted to do different things, but we all were together skating every day. And that was like what we had in common. But yeah, I don't know, there was no plan. We didn't ever want to make it a company. It was just never serious. And we didn't realize that it was actually affecting the world or the skate world and like the culture a little bit. And then I started getting all this advice from older guys, older pros telling me what I should be doing. And we just didn't care. We just wanted to skate. And it was like everyone just wanted to make it about money. Not like the Shep dogs, but the older people. You need to make it a company. You need to be doing this, doing that. And it was just
like they're seeing all the potential for you know, industry shit.
yeah, older heads were telling me like, dude, companies can't buy the draw that you guys have established with your crew. I'm like, that's cool, but I don't care. Like, it's just about going skating, you know, make the project, like literally the filming of it, the fucking editing of it, all of it. That was all we cared about, was just like just skate nerds like we are today. It's like not much has changed.
Yeah.
And you know, that's why, like, I don't know, I might get one of the biggest companies in skateboarding and it still feels so casual because it's the same exact like motions that we were doing even before Shep Dogs. It's just like skate, make rad shit. I don't know.
Yeah, that's actually something I wanted to ask you, is if anything has changed since then, because I'm assuming like pre Shep Dogs video, the first one, you're just living your life. You're doing the exact same shit you were doing in Shep Dogs video. It's the same shit. You're just skating with your friends, chilling. Now it just happens to be on camera. And maybe you're going for like a little bit harder tricks because it's on camera and you want to, you know, pop off for the video. That's one. And then two, then you start filming it. But like now you're on, you know, you're on Death Wish. Your homies are all pro and shit like that. And like working in the industry and doing the thing and stuff like that. Has anything changed in terms of your lifestyle?
Yeah. I mean, shit, so much has changed. I don't even know where to begin. I mean, like I said, like nothing has changed in the sense of like we still desire the same thing. You know, I still want to just go create projects. I just want to travel. That's all that matters. Is having fun and skating and, you know, fucking pushing it. Like not just being there, but actually pushing it. And that was always important to me, was trying to be a little bit better for my own sake, not for anyone else's, but just for the high that I got out of it. And that's still there. I don't think that's ever going to go anywhere. I mean, I've had to like adjust to grow up. You know, I have to make money. You have to, you know, I have pets. I have a fiance, some responsibilities. I'm going to school. There's like kind of a lot, but I don't know. I still feel like such a kid.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that's immature. My priorities, like, they are important in the morning, and then like come midday, I'm like, all right, it's time to skate.
Yeah.
Everything is for fucking skating or the streets, altering a spot. We're fucking doing something. And I wake up the next day and go back to being responsible in the morning. And but no, man, I still go to Baker Boys every week. Still hang out there and talk to Andrew about shapes and go fucking Bondo spot. I don't know, yeah, like nothing changes and everything changes at the same time. I guess it just
like the skating hasn't changed and like the hanging out with friends hasn't changed, but just the fact of growing up and having to fucking do something.
Yeah, more mental. A lot of it's in my head.
Yeah.
Where like, yeah, if you look at me from an outside point of view, I'm still just skating, doing the same thing, riding my bike. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, and it's like it gets a little bit harder as you get older, but I don't know. It's too fun to like ever consider switching up the program whatsoever. Yeah. It's only gotten more fun. The more I skate, the more we film, the more spots we create, the more fucking fun it becomes. So I'm kind of fucked. It's just like,
I'm sure being on Death Wish helps too, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
because that's the culture behind it.
Yeah, and they're the realist over there, so it's not like you're dealing with some people that just got into it for money or for a few weeks or something like that. It's like these are like some of the realest people in skateboarding history, as far as street skateboarding. And,
yeah,
you know, our team managers and, you know, the people that run the brand, the team itself. I mean, what fucking companies have stayed as relevant as Baker as long as Baker? And like that, it takes serious skate nerd passion with your ear to the ground, and most people can't last that long. And it's like, yeah, like what Andrew can do, no one else can do. They think, you know, he just created a cool company, a cool era. It's like, no, he cares so fucking much about skateboarding that he sacrifices a lot, and it shows. Like his brand is still the dopest fucking company, and it's because it takes 100% of you, like sacrifice. And so yeah, it's like being in a company like that, and if you're not loving it, if you're not like gassed to go skate, and you're at a company like that, something's wrong with you. It's too easy, you know. They just fan the flames. Like once you're on board, it's the dream.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, you look at how many board companies and skate companies and teams and brands and all that have come and go.
mm-hmm,
Not because necessarily they weren't sick or they did anything wrong, but just
mm-hmm.
because of the changing of the tides and the way that
Right.
there's generational shifts in the skate industry, and what's popular is changing. The style of skateboarding, like even just the spots and shit themselves,
Mm-hmm.
like it's always changing. Um, the style of clothing is changing, and so if your team is like has one aesthetic, like a zero or like a
Mm-hmm.
fallen type of thing that at one point were top of the line, super popping, like full respect to them and their team and shit.
Yeah.
It's just like the generations shift, and it's like that style of skating isn't the most like
Mm-hmm.
that's not maybe what the kids can relate to anymore, and things just change. And there's a handful, if that, of skate companies, teams, brands that can last that shit. Like
Yeah.
they can with the same. It's like a weird thing, like staying true to their core values
Yeah.
and not really changing too much, really at all. Fucking, at least from like what I'm seeing, can still resonate with pretty much every skateboarder around the world, regardless of what style of pants they wear or what else they
Yeah.
like or what music they like. There's a handful, if that, of teams that have been able to do that, and 100%, Baker Boys is that.
Yeah.
That's like, for me, it's like Baker Boys and Antihero.
Right. Right. Yeah. I
And
agree.
like I might be missing one, but like those are the two that come to mind of like they are skateboarding. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, if you go to Baker Boys, if you go to Deluxe, it doesn't feel like anywhere else. I mean, to me, it feels like one of the most home places in the skate industry, going to those warehouses, because it is. I'm not saying that other companies don't have that don't have a core, like group of workers, but like everyone's such passionate skaters at these places, and then it has to start with the people in charge. Like where, like Julian does Anti-Hero. He's so special. He keeps it real. No one's like him. No one can have a brand like him. Andrew's the same way. And, like I feel like Jason Dill said in an interview a long time ago, he's like, I want to have FA shut down after 7 years. And it's like, he knows that window that we're talking about where things can only be cool for so long. Now, I don't think he realized how much power he had at that time, that his shit was going to be dope for a lot longer than 7 years. But that's the concept where it's like, yeah, things can only be cool for this long. But not, because there's companies like Anti-Hero and Baker. So it kind of goes against what everyone else is throwing at the industry. So I don't know. I mean, I haven't spent much time with Julian, but there's no one like Andrew. And I have to blame Baker Boys' success pretty much on him. Eric and Jim are incredible, unique individuals too. But nowadays and the last couple of years, they haven't been as hands-on. Jim's kind of been doing his own thing. Eric's doing his own thing. But even when they were there, it's like, yeah, those three are so unique and so important to skating that I'm not surprised the brands turned out as unique as they did, and they've lasted as long as they did. But I could not tell you what the recipe is for having a company last longer than whatever the normal slot is, 7 years or whatever. And I don't think you can be taught it. I don't think you can learn how to do it. I think there's people like Andrew and Julian that just skateboarding needed them.
Yeah.
And we're lucky to see, I don't know, the waves they created.
Yeah, it's wild. When I first started skateboarding, and I seen these, just their logos, just like the classic Baker logo,
Yeah.
the classic eagle spread out.
Mm-hmm.
Like no one's pro model or anything, just like the classic.
Yeah.
Somehow, not knowing jack shit, I could just tell like, oh, this is it. Kind of like the design of the logo, just it
Yeah.
speaks a lot.
Yeah, no bullshit kind of
It's
logo.
so strange. Like it tells you in a weird, unexplainable way what the company is about, and like it gives you like this like feeling. And it's interesting too because like Baker's like primarily just like street skateboarding,
Hmm.
and then Antihero's like super transition.
Right.
But it's like all types of kids are gonna skate both of those companies.
Right.
All types of kids like there are certain board companies that are like so, let's say, tech ledge skating that
Hmm.
it doesn't even make sense to skate that shit, to skate that board if you're not that.
Yeah, yeah. DGK or some shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, well, you're gonna skate a pool with a DGK board. It's like strange.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, but not them. Yeah, the and another thing too about Baker, the fucking like timeline of that team and the videos and the history of how that shit happened. When you watch like the early Baker videos and you watch like the founders and like the original team, you're saying like, Eric Ellington, Jim
Hmm.
Greco, Reynolds, and the whole squad, you can't like, that shit's like, it's almost like a fucking movie, you know what I mean? Like that thing that happened with those videos and the feelings that it gave, I'm gonna say that has to be the most influential fucking video. Those are the most influential videos in skateboarding history, I think.
Hmm.
All my friends that I talk to, like maybe it's just our generation, but I kind of doubt it. Like it's like, oh, the Baker videos. What's your favorite video? The Baker videos. Everyone's talking about the Baker videos, and it's like when I think of like the Bible of videos, that's kind of what I think about. And I think that those types of videos, they couldn't even like happen anymore the way that they happened.
Yeah.
Everything's changed so much that it couldn't even happen. Like the fucking country has changed, so
Hmm.
it's like they're running shit coast to coast in a lawless fashion.
Yeah.
And it's like it would be harder to do that now. And then also the specialness of coming out with the full length,
Hmm.
where real talk shit hasn't been seen yet.
Yeah.
Shit hasn't been seen, and you've seen like maybe slight glimpses of shit you're gonna have to fill in with your imagination in like Thrasher, Trans World
Right.
ads, Skateboarder Mag ads.
Hmm.
You're gonna see like the just a photo that you can have to fill in the rest. Then you see that video, you get it, you have it in a hard copy. You can't even watch that shit anywhere unless you one of your homies cops that shit.
Yep.
It was like the perfect storm.
Yeah. No, it really was. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say I missed the full length era and everything, but I don't know. Maybe it's good that it's changing. I mean, there's a million skaters nowadays. There's a million videos. But I don't know. Maybe Baker and Antihero spoke to skaters so much. I don't know. It's hard to talk about it nowadays because I don't know what kids feel, little kids feel when they see skating. But for me, like, my parents wanted me to play ball sports. I loved skating since I've opened my eye, and it's like, sorry, is that me?
I don't know if that was me, but it's all good. It doesn't matter.
Turn that off. Sorry, blanked out.
All good. You were saying that your parents wanted you to play ball sports. You love skating.
Yeah, and like so when an anti-hero video would come out like fucktards and then Baker 3 comes out, they're so free. As corny as that sounds, when you're a kid, you've never seen someone so reckless, and that might have subconsciously, maybe consciously, was the reason I love skating, was the freedom of it. You can go down your driveway, you can go left or right, no one tells you anything. But then Baker and Antihero would take it to another level where like you're seeing partying for the first time and you're seeing them not give a fuck about what they're wearing, and you're like, whoa, this is like the shit. Like, this is why I got into it, but I didn't realize it goes so much further. And like, that's why I say I don't know what kids feel nowadays. Now kids might view skating like you view football or something respectable and it's in the Olympics. But to me, like, yeah, I loved that it was free, and then those videos kind of like encapsulate like the freedom of skateboarding and like being an individual, I guess.
They like they embodied a feeling. I feel like.
Yeah, and there's other companies doing that. I don't want to sound ignorant and be like, yo, it's just
Of course,
Baker
yeah.
Boys and Anti-Hero. I'm not. Those are just easy ones to reference.
But it's also the shit that you came up on, you know, and I
Yeah.
can. So it's like you're gonna just fuck with it more. Everyone
Mm-hmm.
thinks like, oh, in the old days it was better and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
But like straight up, that's how I feel because that's my generation. That's what I, as a little kid, came up on. So
Yeah.
it's not that that's the truth. That's just like my feeling. You know what I mean? And another thing too is like now it's like uh there's like Nike, there's Converse, there's New Balance,
Mm-hmm.
there's Asics, and then there's like Vans, and those are like the primary skate footwear.
Right.
um but then it was like there's like Supra, there's Emerica, there's Circa, there's Fallen, there's
Mm-hmm.
fucking Lakai, there's S, and the shops are actually going to be filled with those rather than what the others. But you're not going to see a regular civilian in day-to-day life. Let's say you go to high school or middle school, you're like a skateboarder in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to see anyone at your school wearing those shoes unless they're a skateboarder.
Right.
You're not going to see them wearing those shoes. You're not going to see them in average life wearing those shoes.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it was like I like I'm getting into this shit. I live like a regular mundane ass life, and it's like I go to school, I see everyone wearing and being like kind of like the same person it felt like at during that time period. And then I watch these videos and I'm like, yo, this is like a whole different world
Mm-hmm.
with a whole different code and a whole different style. And like, why the fuck is America spelled wrong? I remember thinking that. I was like, yo, that's dope. Like,
Yeah, these guys do whatever they want.
they printed that on a shoe, dude. What
Yeah.
the fuck's going on over
Mm-hmm.
here, dude? And I think that was like a huge appeal to it too. It's like the freedom. It's like those videos. It's not necessarily. I mean, they're shredding, doing crazy tricks, right? But like, it's not even about the tricks. It's about the whole experience. It's about like you're saying. It's like the freedom. I think
Yeah.
that's like the best way to encapsulate it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Then, like I said, a lot of companies can give you that feeling for sure. So I hate to only be referencing our two favorites.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the it's the dopest thing ever.
So how is it? I guess being on Death Wish when you got on, turning pro, and how did that whole thing come about from like Shep Dogs into what it is now?
I would say I have like the Shep Dogs to thank for me getting sponsored because me as an individual probably was just like replaceable. But I didn't really get boards from anyone, and then I just skate the homies' old boards and stuff, and everything happened at once. And I can't remember what video we put out. Maybe the third one or fourth one. Anyways, we put the video out, and Riley got hit up for Baker, and then like a few weeks later, it was like Death Wish for me. Rowan was getting on Baker. Homie AJ was getting on Slave.
All around the same time?
Yeah, all within like a few months of each other. It was like nothing was happening for us, and then I think like we had a premiere at Trans World at their warehouse, and it was kind of a big deal. Like, I don't know, it felt like a big deal compared to the other premieres. And then when it became time to film the next video, like everyone took us serious, and that's when like I was skating Death Wish boards, and everyone had their sponsors. But the day I got hit up for Death Wish, I got a text from my buddy Lanny was saying they want to give me mystery boards too. The same day. If either one would have asked me a week prior, I would have said yes. If Mystery would have asked me, I knew the whole team on Mystery at the time. I didn't know anyone on Death Wish. I knew of them, but they asked me within a few hours of each other, and I was just like, fuck, what do I do? Thought about it for a few days. Probably sounds like a stupid thing to consider, but at the time, Mystery was more relevant, and I knew the whole team, like I said, so that seemed like a possibility. But then something kind of just like woke up, and I was like, fuck it, just go for Death Wish. Get on Death Wish. Smart idea. You kind of know John Dixon and Slash. And so I get on Death Wish instantly. Like, I'm like a kid in a candy store. Just like, fuck, I definitely made the right decision. Like 6 months later, Mystery goes out of business. I was like, fuck, I made the right decision.
Dude.
And yeah, I think I don't know. It kind of felt like destiny, as corny as that sounds. I was like, after that, I was like, okay, I'm supposed to be here. Like, don't question, your purpose or your existence. Like, you're supposed to be on Death Wish. You're supposed to be a skateboarder.
Were you questioning it?
I mean, I always hated that I was from fucking sunny Southern California, where all the pros are, when everyone else had it harder. I mean, I don't want to say harder. I don't know everyone's situation, but I had a lot of friends growing up that lived in harder cities across America. They didn't have they didn't have support. They didn't have skate parks, this and that. And I grew up in fucking the mecca of skating. Shit fell in my lap. I hated that. I was like, no, like, yeah, it's corny. Of course you're going to be a fucking skater coming from Southern California, or a surfer. It's like one of the two. So yeah, like I didn't like that growing up. And I still like, sure, I think it's cornier than someone who's born in some like rough city and makes it out. I have way more respect for that. So yeah, like I would beat myself up for sure, but not that I'm expecting pity. I was just like, fuck, this is weird. And then when I got on Death Wish and Mystery went under, that all happened. I was like, all right, like it's on, it's time to skate. Like, fuck your stupid feelings. Let's just see how far we can go.
Yeah. Who texted you or who hit you up to get on the team?
Slash.
Okay, that's dope, man.
Yeah. I just skated a park with a bunch of pros one day, and then later that night was when I got hit up for Mystery and Death Wish. It was as simple as that. Like, I'd been skating and been putting out parts, but just one park session with Windsor, Jamie Thomas, Slash, a bunch of these dudes were there. And yeah, it was later that night that I got both the hit ups. And then, yeah, it was just kind of on from there.
Yeah.
Off to the races.
Yeah. How was the place that you came up in? Oceanside, San Diego? I don't know shit about like geographically where these places are. Like, if you told me Oceanside's and fucking in anywhere you told me where that is, I'd believe you. So
yeah.
What was it like? And I know you hopped around like Oceanside, Long Beach, a little bit of LA. Like, I know that like Riley is from San Diego, and so yeah, what was that like?
Well, I'm born and my parents still live in San Clemente, which is about an hour south of LA.
Okay.
On the beach, just a smaller town. But I want to say, yeah, like I started skating like these castle contests, California Amateur Skateboard League, and I met a bunch of homies. In like 4th grade, I met Riley because he would skate these contests, and they would be all over Southern California. So I lived in San Clemente, but like once a month we'd be going to LA. The next month we'd go to San Diego. Next month somewhere in Orange County. You get the idea. And so from elementary school, I already was tapped in with like some San Diego kids, and I was like, all right, these kids are way doper than who I'm around in San Clemente. San Clemente like has a bit of wealth, and so the kids are just nightmares for the most part.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd found the kids in San Diego, the Shep dogs, and every weekend I was taking the bus down, or my parents were driving me, halfway or whatever. So by the time I graduated high school, I immediately moved to San Diego, North County, which is Oceanside, Carlsbad area. And then, yeah, I lived there for years. And the partying got a little out of hand. So I wanted to go somewhere else, and I went to Long Beach. Long Beach, the partying's even worse. That's all people fucking do. Beautiful cities, both of them. And then I went back to Oceanside because I was unhappy with Long Beach. And when I got back to Oceanside, I was like, fuck, I love it here, but it feels like Groundhog's Day. I'm just doing the same thing. And for me, I needed like more motivation, or else I was just going to rot. And at that time, me and my lady wanted to move to San Francisco, but we couldn't afford it. So next best big city in our eyes at that time was Los Angeles. So we're like, fuck it, let's move to LA. I had no idea how much I was going to fall in love with LA, because when you're from Orange County, when you're from San Diego, New York, damn near the rest of the world, you're supposed to hate LA, right? You're like told to hate LA. The traffic, that's what you're supposed to say.
Yeah.
There's fucking traffic everywhere. It's honestly worse everywhere else I go. All around the world, the traffic is worse. I know how to fly around LA. don't mean to get riled up, but I just, I was like, yeah, fucking, let's move to this big city, and there's so much going on. There's so many people working harder than you. There's so much just entertaining shows and fucking graffiti, and everything is so entertaining in the big city that I'm like, how could you hate on a place like this? And I get it. Everyone's different. But for me, for what I want to do, for what I need for my brain, I don't think I could be anywhere else besides a big city right now. So
You're still in LA?
Still in LA, yeah, in Silver Lake, and been in the same house I'm in now for like 5 years, and we're happy there. But shit, I want to come out here. I want to live out in New York before I'm too old.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. I'm a little bitch about the winters because I'm from Southern California, but
dude, it's beautiful out in West Coast, man.
yeah,
I go out there like a few times a year for this, and we just fucking we do shit over there and we work, and every time I go there, I'm a tourist, and I'm on like almost like vacation, it feels like. But every time I go, there's a part of me where I was like, dude, if it wasn't for like my family living out on the East Coast that I feel like I should be near, like this place is beautiful and I have such a good time there. Everybody there is like, of course they're welcoming in New York, meaning like the people who I meet, but over there for some reason it feels like you just get like, I met the dudes over at FA and everybody at the warehouse, and like everyone's just like I met Mike Lottie, nicest fucking people, man. And I'm like, yo, this place. Yeah, I wake up in the morning and the fucking sun's coming up
every day.
I'm like, this is really ill. I'm drinking a coffee and like there's like sunlight and life and shit. Of course there is traffic, but I know about how like depending on the time that you leave your crib to go to a certain place, you gotta time it and you gotta know. I don't know that shit, but
yeah, I mean I stay, like a lot of us can just stay away from the main roads on streets that most people have no idea exists, and it's like you can zip around all of LA by avoiding the main streets. And people don't know that. People come to LA and it's so easy to have a bad time. I get it. It's like shit's spread out. If you don't know where you're at, you don't know how long it's going to take, you're going to have a bad time. That's fine. I don't care. I fucking love how much fun you can have there. I love zipping around. I love driving like a maniac. I got like a 21 speed bike. I love biking like a maniac. And I don't know, people say it's expensive, just like New York, but it works out. If you have a job, you're going to make rent, just like you do anywhere, in America.
Yeah.
The minimum wage will line up. You can make it happen. The only difference is there's just a lot more shit going on in these cities,
The thing I like about it too is the fact that like New York's a city, but it's fucking dense, dude.
Right.
Which has its pros too, and I love New York, but LA has like there's parts of it where like, dude, if I look outside my window, I don't know where the fuck I am. You could tell me I'm in fucking Connecticut and I'm gonna believe you.
Yeah.
Connecticut in the summer and I'm gonna believe you. And so you can have space. You can have like a fucking house with a lawn and like, you could. I get why people move there.
Yeah.
I fully get it, and I would too. You know what I mean? And it's also good for the skate. You being a pro and shit. Like in the skate industry is,
I mean, yeah, it's too easy. The whole reason why Hollywood exists, like the film industry, is because the weather. It's one of the only places where you could film year round without having, a rain delay for months or snow delay or something like that. So the Hollywood film industry obviously fell in love with that area. And then, yeah, sure, skating's the same thing. We don't like rain. Perfect. It's fucking 75 degrees year round. Like, can't complain about that.
Yeah. I'm also... Oh, keep going. Sorry.
Oh, I mean, no, I don't think it's anything important. But I don't know. Something that I notice is it it's perfect for living, right? The weather, the ocean, temperature, everything. No one's really screaming Southern California, like banging it on their chest. You go to NorCal, you see it. You go to Texas, you go to New York, you go to New Jersey, fucking anywhere, they're banging it like this is where I'm from. You go to Southern California and people are like, they're proud of it, but they're not screaming it. Yeah. And it always tripped me out. You don't see like SoCal tats, which like, sure, would be the corniest thing ever. I'm not saying I want to see that, but it's strange. It's almost like these people know that they have it the best, that screaming that we have it the best would be insecure or ignorant, where it's like, dude, obviously you guys have the best weather. You win, Then yeah, sure, the sun sets over the ocean. everyone's fucking beautiful. Yeah, it's like everything's perfect. It's almost obnoxious. And so that's why I don't know. Like I'm not going to go around screaming SoCal like in people's faces, you know, flexing it, cuz it's like it really is paradise
No, it's paradise.
and we are spoiled. Like I work hard to keep my place there and to live there, but try to be humble because a lot I think like fuck I say try to be humble, but that's the cockiest thing ever saying that it's the best place. Like but I don't know, a lot of people would disagree with me. Like they think seasons are very important and I can get down with that, you know, as far as your mental health even, you know, like moving forward in the seasons and the years. We don't have that. It's just fucking summer pretty
Yeah.
much there. So people start to go crazy if you're not raised with that there. It's kind of an interesting concept. It never feels like winter. It never feels like the next year. It never feels, it's just sunny California.
I was at a beach in San Diego not too long ago. And I don't know what beach it was, but all I know is that every single person on that beach, yo, it looked like I was at on a movie set.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't even real because
Yeah.
like why are all these people looking like this in the same spot, but they don't know each other and this is just like a random Tuesday. Like it looked fucking crazy. And it's like I went to Venice Beach and was just like the sand was like, you know, regular ruggedish, not bad, but not like crazy
Like pristine.
paradise
Yeah.
sand. And then I was at that beach in San Diego and the sand was like insane. The sand was like sent from the gods type of thing, and I'm like, why is this place like this?
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like LA is a major city, so it's disgusting. I love LA, but it's fucking disgusting. So what, the beaches can't stay that clean. There's too many people. There's too much activity to keep the beaches that clean. Sure, you can go a few miles up to Malibu and find something, and you know, same with going south, like down to Orange County. But yeah, it's like it's a big city. The beach can't stay clean. You go to Orange County, San Diego, yeah, it's a fucking movie down there. It's like beautiful,
Yeah,
but feels fake, honestly.
yeah. So in terms of touring, how do you like the lifestyle that touring brings? Like, you know, you probably woke up today at what, like pretty fucking early, and you know you're like I was saying, like probably one of the earliest people that
Yeah.
earliest episodes we've ever had. What is it like living 2 weeks, like or more, like hotel motel van, skating, hotel, always
Mm-hmm.
surrounded by homies, always like, you know, that whole thing. You hear a lot about it. You hear
Mm-hmm.
different perspectives. So what's yours?
I'd say each trip's different. Um, you know, like a Death Wish trip will be kind of similar each time, but each one is different. You know, like we're here in New York right now. There's a lot of pushing. There's a lot of time together. Where like sometimes you're in a van, you know, and sometimes you're in two vans and you have away time from each other. But I don't know. I'm obsessed with it. It's been years and years of like touring for me, so that's all. Like I'm so used to it. But I don't know. I didn't. Fuck, it's so important to travel.
Yeah.
You know, it's like kind of a privilege to travel. So I'm not saying like to people who are listening, like, oh, just go travel. You know, just pull out your credit card and do it. It's fucking expensive, and it's a lot of work to do it. But it's so fucking important because it gives you perspective, and you hear stuff and you read about stuff and you grow up and you think you know things, and then you start traveling and you talk to people and you realize how little you know, and you realize how big the world is and how small at the same time. But both sides of that are so important to me for my values. So I think traveling's so fucking important. And yes, it's privilege, definitely a privilege. That being said, the last 4 years of traveling, I've tried to take more advantage. I've given less of a fuck about partying, going to the bars and stuff, and more about like, I don't know, riding a bike around, finding spots, looking at. I mean, if you're in a town like, you know, graffiti, architecture, fucking local dogs. I don't know. Like every city has so much dope stuff to
Yeah.
offer, and I don't know. Like even if it's not what you like, it's still dope to take in. You know, like I like big city. I like the vibe of that, and I'll go to a small city and it's not for me, and the coffee shop sucks, And I love that. I'm like, this is awesome. Like, it's all shit to take in. I'm not saying I want to drink shitty coffee every day on the road, but
It's an experience.
It's an experience.
Yeah.
And yeah, accents and people's views and old people coming up and just talking to you without you asking them a question, and they're just unloading on you, or little kids just staring. I don't know, like, traveling's so important. And um yeah, the older I got, the luckier I felt, to be on the road. And this year I've traveled more than I've fucking ever traveled. And yeah, I'm shooting photos the whole way through. I'm writing about it every single morning.
Like in a notebook?
Yeah.
Dope.
Because I can't remember what happened 3 days ago. When you're on a trip, so much shit happens every single day. You can't remember anything. Like, it's, whether you're sober or not, you're just doing too much stuff at too fast of a pace that, yeah, I started writing stuff down just to remember what the hell I did.
Yeah.
And it's been years of that now, and I'm addicted to it. So now, yeah, I wake up.
That's your routine.
Yeah, I wake up 6 a.m. By like whatever time the coffee shop lets me come in at. I'll go in, get coffee, start writing, go tag the town for a little bit, and then everyone's usually awake, and then we go skate. And it's so cool. It's so cool being able to do that, because I see, like, I used to be hungover, getting in the van, like, hating myself, and I still see, like, the homies just, like, sleeping until 2 minutes before we got to go. And it's some of the dopest experiences ever. I've just been cruising around solo, like, seeing what's out there.
Yeah, damn, I got a lot to say about that. I think that for sure, just changing your fucking surroundings and your day-to-day activities has a huge effect on your mind, and has a huge effect on your perspective and who you are as a person and what you're grateful for, and, like, even fucking stress levels. Like, being in New York and doing what we do over here, like, we fucking work hard, and we work hard 24/7. 18 days can go by and I'll be lost, and it'll feel like one day because every day has been the same and I haven't seen sunlight.
Yep.
And, like, we're just grinding, and then it's like I get really in my head, and that's just, like, New York and life in general, when you're working for a purpose and shit. And it's like, then you can travel, get out of your zone, be amongst friends, see life, see people living, and it just, like, makes you realize, like, oh, all this shit that I was thinking, like, it was me in a little, like, forest in my brain getting confused and shit. And I feel like that is true not just for, like, my life and stress levels or whatever, but just in general. Like, it'll make you realize, like you're saying, like, your perspective changes. You think you know shit, you go out and see the world, and then you realize, like, oh, like, dude, I don't know fucking anything, dude. And there's mad shit to be grateful for, and there's mad experiences. And, like, another thing too is, like, waking up early in the morning and having a routine like that. That's like a crazy weird treasure.
Right.
Like, there's something so peaceful about doing it, and by the time that all the other homies have woken up, or just the rest of the world has woken up, out of, like, your own personal volition, you decided to go, and not because you had work or some shit, but just because you wanted to do that, go and, like, do something. For some reason, I feel like it clears your brain a lot. And you're talking about how, like, skateboarding and touring is very intertwined historically with, like, drinking.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're not really drinking anymore, right?
No, I'm not anymore.
Yeah, and it's like, that's probably been a huge change too.
Yeah.
Because that fucking, I was never really into drinking like that, but a lot of my friends were, just because of skateboarding. And like the lifestyle and wanting to emulate and being young and experimenting and partying and doing all that shit. And it's like, it's probably very different.
Yeah. I mean, when you're a kid, I say when I was a kid, like, everyone I looked up to drank, whether it was music, skating, like, an artist, it was just about drinking. And that's, I think still, it's like the coolest people drink. And so by the time I was old enough to drink, I don't even know if I wanted to, but I needed to, I was like, screw it. That's what we all do. And, no, it's different for everyone. But yeah, I took a break. Every time I've been hurt the last 10 years, I'll, like, do a sober 2 months or something, 3 months to heal. And then, little over 2 years ago, I was healthy and I had the thought like, what if you were sober when you weren't hurt? What would you do? Like, what would your brain think? What would your bank account do? What would, I was just curious, and I was like, didn't want to put a deadline, like, okay, I want to be sober for a month or sober for whatever. I was just like, screw it. Let's see how long it takes to feel something. And then by like the third week, I felt so much different. I was so bummed. I like didn't think it was going to be this extreme because I didn't drink that much. I wasn't like blacking out. I was down to drink with my friends. But by like the third week, every session at a skate park or on my board period was like the best session ever. My board was listening to me. I was like, fuck, that's how like Tyshawn did it. That's how Foy did it. They just never gave a fuck about drinking, because it is a huge difference even if you don't drink that much. I can't speak for everyone. Like I'm speaking from experience and from what I've seen.
Yeah.
Foy and Tyshawn are so far past almost every single person I'm with. They don't drink. Foy will have a cocktail every few months or something to celebrate. I love it. I don't know. I instantly looked up to them. I instantly looked up to, and then I started realizing there's people everywhere around me that have never drank, period. And I was just like in this cloud thinking that like everyone drank. And
I think Tyshawn never drank, period, right?
Period. No, never touched anything. And then like around that time I found out like Frank Ocean had never touched anything, and like I looked up to his music a lot, and it was just like too easy. I was like, oh, this is my new, like I have to do this. And I don't, like I'll smoke some weed here and there. I'm not going to call myself sober. I don't drink, and I don't think it'll last forever. I'm down to have a beer in the future with my friends or my family or whatever. So I don't want to be too serious. But maybe if people are listening and they're like, there doesn't have to be a line.
A line, yeah.
You can be like Foy, have one every 6 months because you fucking earned it. But at that point, you don't even care anymore. You're like, dude, give me a soda water. Like, that's my celebration.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I can celebrate other ways now. I don't need to drink, but
I think it's so easy to be like, no, I'm either sober or I'm not.
Right.
When it doesn't have to be that way.
But that's gnarly for people. Like, they think they have to be in one category or the other, and that's gnarly. And I would say to people that think about stopping, don't set a goal, because when you're staring at that end date, it's so hard. Fuck, I got another 2 months till I can have a beer. Like, I got another, 16 days. That seems like it's made it so hard on all my other friends who have stopped drinking when they pick a date. For me, I was just like, we'll see how far we can go. If I relapse tomorrow, oh well.
Keep it chill.
It's not a fail.
Yeah, it's not a fail.
And so that was so nice. I was just like, whatever, day by day, But once again, like I didn't have the biggest problem, so I don't really want to give any advice at all in the drinking category. I just want to say that like it made it a lot easier to be in control of my mind.
Yeah. Was it difficult to just, not drink anymore, especially like with friends around you drinking? And
Nah, I mean, I was drinking non-alcoholic beers the first month. I'd like pull up to the session or like pull up to the bar and like be drinking like fake beers. But I don't know. The nights go by faster almost. Like I'd go to the bar sober, hang out, have 2 fake beers. It's 1 a.m. I'm like, oh, let's go home. We did it. And after about a month of that, I was like, that's stupid. I don't need to go to the bar, period. I'm with my friends all fucking day filming, talking, joking, laughing. I'm just going to go home.
Yeah.
So that was easy. But like, yeah. And now if I go to a premiere or like an art show or something, I don't last as long, which I love. It's perfect. Like I used to be so worried about what's the after party. What bar are we going to? Like, we got to have the best time ever. And then now I'll go home, hang out with my lady, get stoked for tomorrow, whatever that means. Just like prepare, relax, do whatever. It's a lot easier.
Yeah. So you guys are flying out tonight?
Yeah, late flight, which is random.
What are you gonna do when you get back? Do you have any plans? Are you guys working on anything?
Yeah, I mean, we're always kind of working on stuff at Death Wish and Baker. The filming never ends, but the project changes form. Um, I would love to have something out this year, but it's already it's already August. That's crazy. So yeah, probably next year, shit's gonna come out. But yeah, just back to filming. I've been like doing a little bit of set design with a buddy, which pays great. I need to make money. I've been uh, helping Tony Vitello at Thrasher with social media. They've been sending me on these monster trips. There's that, and then
What do you do for the social media and the monster trips?
um, pretty much like I hit up a bunch of people. Like I was with Vans for 6 years, and then I left, and it was great. And I needed to find income, so I hit up a bunch of my friends in the skate industry, just kind of let them know. Hit up Tony, and I'm like, "Yo, if you guys need help with photos, writing, anything, social media, let me know." And then they're going through some changes with their staff, and so they needed help. And they're like, "Yo, you down to film the monster team in Shanghai?" Yeah, sure. Never been to Shanghai. I can film on an iPhone. And yeah, it turned out to be like one of the funnest trips ever. I was skating all day long with those guys. Dope team.
Who's on it?
We don't have enough time to list the whole team. It's so big.
Yeah.
And I've been on 2 trips, and they kind of change up each trip who's coming on it. But they just have some savages that are just tranny skaters, street skaters. I mean, yeah, Olympians.
Monster can fucking cut the check too. Monster can
Bro.
fucking cut the check. Like, I
So nice.
watch a lot of martial arts, and like, you see, like when the dude won, him pulling out the monster every time. I'm like,
Bread.
yo, these fools just fucking have that bread.
Mm-hmm.
Which is weird, because in my brain, like, who drinks Monster? But I'm like, I guess people fucking drink, because I don't really drink Monster. So I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, who drinks Monster? I'm like, nah, people must clearly drink Monster because,
A lot of fucking people do. They're
Yeah.
addicted to it. And we don't see it. They're like closet drinkers or something.
Yeah.
Or they're just semi-truck drivers, or like,
That I could fully see. Like, if I
You
was a semi-truck driver, I'm drinking,
yeah.
you have to.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's not in our face in the big city. People don't. It's not trendy, but they're huge. They're a giant company, and so yeah, when we're on trips, it's like Michelin star dinners. And,
Yeah.
I love it. They got their own world going on. The Monster team. They don't care about what anyone thinks of them. They know they're fucking traveling the world, eating at the nicest places, skating the best spots. They're living the dream. They don't need anyone else's opinion. And,
Yeah.
and I didn't know that existed until they sent me on one of those trips, and I was like, "Fuck, this is perfect. You guys are." Like, cause yeah, like Monster, you probably think bro company, motocross, this and that. And so sure, people jump to conclusion thinking about their skate team, but it doesn't matter what your conclusion is. They're doing their own thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they're fucking stoked doing it. And so yeah, right when I got back from Shanghai, like, you want to come to Copenhagen? Grant's coming. I was like, duh. Like, so yeah, and then once again, dopest time ever. Rad team. Yeah, they're like lesser haters than most people. I'm like, it's refreshing to be around the Monster team, and I never thought I'd ever say that in my life. But
How was Shanghai?
that place is insane.
How long did you stay there?
We did like 9 days maybe. Fucking incredible skate spots. Place looks like it's made to skate, like on a Barcelona level, but different. I would suggest everyone go there, whether you're a tech street skater or some gnarly rail skater. Like, people know there's Marvel Plazas, but I don't know if they know, unless they've been there, that every single fucking street has insane stuff to skate. Stuff that just needs to be ollied or board slid. I was losing my mind. And I was just there to film on an iPhone.
Yeah.
I wasn't even filming real tricks. But